Worcestershire-based salesman Richard Williams and Canadian real estate expert Gil Ostrander think they have a concept that'll give it a real boost. They're next into the den.
Hello Dragons, my name is Richard Williams. This is my colleague, Gil Ostrander. Gil Ostrander and I have a company called Realtor Network Limited. We offer 20% equity in exchange for an investment of £50,000. Estate agency in the UK today does not work. There is a solution. Gil Ostrander has built Realtor networks for 30 years in North America and for 15 years in Europe. Gil.
The solution is simple and yet radical. The paradigm of salaried employees in small high street locations simply must change. The UK is the last major country in Europe to not adapt the real estate industry to a straight commission model with an active sales force. We will establish a multiple listing system where one realtor office could list a property and another office could sell the property.
In return for this, they would join our network and pay us a license fee. Any questions are welcome.
Confident claims from Richard Williams and his experienced business partner Gil Ostrander. In a bid to revolutionise the way we buy and sell property, the duo need a £50,000 investment and are prepared to offer a 20% stake. But Peter Jones looks confused.
Richard, Gil, hi, I'm Peter.
Hello, Peter.
I like the sailboard. Yeah, because that's Realtor is a...
That's right.
Is like our version of an estate agent in the States, isn't it?
Exactly.
Yes.
So if you've got all of your Realtor agents in your network, and there is a house that all of them are clearly trying to sell, it's one house, and I'm Peter Jones' estate agents, and I have a few spare desks there, and a few people from Realtor Network, and if somebody up wherever they are, they phone through to, say, Tom Hughes, and say, I've got a buyer for you, Tom. So now I've got two of your agents. That house is sold, and I've charged 1.5% commission. What does the first agent that found the buyer get?
Half of the commission.
So he gets 0.75%?
Exactly.
What does Tom Hughes get?
The other half of the commission.
Right, that's all the commission
what
gone.
What about poor Peter Jones?
Now what about me, Peter Jones, the estate agent?
Okay, maximum half down to 15%.
So I could get 15% of 1.5%?
No, of the 0.75.
I mean, that's hardly even going to pay for the paper to print the documents.
The enigmatic entrepreneurs seem only to have confounded the Dragons. Can Theo Paphitis make sense of the proposition?
OK, Richard, Gil, you've not thought this through. P. Jones owns the office.
Right.
He's sitting back in his office, waiting to count the money, and Tom Hughes says, I made 1,500 quid, so I'm going to give you 15% of that. You have 225 quid.
Yeah.
You're absolutely correct.
Right, I'm not finished yet.
Okay, neither was I, but go ahead.
Well, I was talking.
Go ahead. Continue, please.
For his 225 quid, he's running his website.
Measured the house.
Measured the house.
Took photographs.
Photographs. 225 quid.
My turn? Yes, 225 quid. My turn? You forgot to mention that Tom Hughes paid him £800 at the beginning of the month to cover his fair share of that rent and that sign and that electricity. The other thing is that you could have 30 guys doing this for you. And 30 guys times 225 quid, if they did it every day, starts to be an interesting business model.
An uncomfortable exchange, perhaps, but finally some light is shed on the business model on offer. Duncan Bannatyne is next to interrogate the duo.
Right. The market is low at the moment. The market's slow with houses.
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't matter how you're selling. It doesn't matter how good you are. If there's nobody buying, you won't sell.
I agree, except for the fact that 650,000 people bought last year.
Where?
In the UK.
How many bought in America?
Oh, I don't know the American statistics. Why do we want to talk about that?
Because you said this is the way they do it in America. This is how they sell in America. And we're going to bring it to the UK and use this method in the UK.
I don't understand your point. Do you think that the American real estate market has collapsed in the last 2 years?
I don't really care. It's not my
Neither do
question.
I.
It's not
That's
my
my
question.
point.
Right. You can be reasonable and answer a reasonable question. It's entirely up to you. But I tell you, whatever you do, I'm out.
An infuriated Duncan Bannatyne refuses to do business with Gill and Richard and walks away from the deal. Will Hilary Devey be able to bring some calm to proceedings?
Years and years and years and years, too many years to mention, I used to recruit and run direct sales forces. Today, it is, I would say, nigh on impossible to recruit direct salespeople to work on a commission-only basis in the UK.
I've been hearing those words for 30 years. In every country I've
Gillis,
worked
all
in...
I can tell you is 25 years ago, I did it. And today, I have a problem in lending my name because ultimately, I know the scams they got up to earn that commission.
You are describing the real estate industry I joined 40 years ago.
Yeah.
It was an industry of pirates. What we did by introducing some of the changes that we're talking about here, codes of ethics, more effective training, showing them how to make their money correctly.
Okay,
by doing that, we changed that industry into a profession.
Okay, right.
And I was part of that. I'm a refugee of that.
Gil,
Sorry.
God gave you one of these and two of these. Use them wisely.
I'm trying. Go
Right.
ahead.
Do you know what? The beast doesn't change. When that beast is hungry, it wants feeding. And by God, somehow or other, they'll find a scam to get fed. I'm out.
Discord over the business model and discontent with the entrepreneur's manner results in the loss of a second dragon. Now, will Deborah Meaden agree with her rival investors' concerns?
Okay, this model works in the States. I think the problem is the mindset is different between the States and here, and without the protections of licensed agents, I think there's going to be a problem convincing people in the UK that this is a model they want to shift to. If I'm wrong about that, you're talking to the wrong person in me. You should be talking to some of the big operators. But at the moment, I'm not convinced that they will adopt it because the way we sell properties is deeply embedded. So for those reasons, I'm out.
Thank you.
Richard Gill, in America, it is very typical to charge for the sale of your house between 4 and 8%. And the reason for that is because of this type of model, because of the share piece of commission. Here, 1.5%. So there's not enough margin in the model. I do see there's a potential for it if you start to self-regulate, but I think it's about paying people proper money, because you're not £20,000 a year salespeople, with respect. I'm going to say I'm out.
Two more dragons find fault with the duo's plans. Now, only Theo Paphitis can rescue their dreams of investment.
Richard, what's your history?
I was involved in multi-level marketing, built a business with that, and then I came across the Realtor method and got involved in franchising that through one of the American, well, the world's largest realtors in the UK.
Okay, so what happened?
It went belly up.
And the model there was?
The Realtor method.
Okay, if it failed so miserably last time, why do you think I'm going to give you 50,000 quid?
It's not the business model that failed. It's people. Business models, businesses don't fail, airplanes don't crash, pilots crash airplanes. The people fail.
Is that true?
Yes.
If a plane develops severe engine problems, it's the pilot's fault.
That takes care of 1% of the airplane accidents. Okay, 1% of the time, maybe a business model fails because of technology shifts or the market goes in a completely different direction. But most of the time, it's the people who failed.
This gentleman is already shown to have failed. You're following fool's gold. It won't work. And for those reasons, this fool will not be investing. So I'm out.
A disappointing end for the duo. They stayed remarkably composed, but ultimately failed to convince the Dragons there was a future for their business.